Welcome to Revoicing the Future, a Women of NAMM podcast, presented by AKG. Just as one revoices a chord, Revoicing the Future creates a completely new perspective on the invaluable notes that make up the whole. It will uplift women's voices in the music products industry, which have earned their time to be the root of the chord. Once a month, you can catch productive and valuable conversations with women working in manufacturing, retail, the nonprofit sector, music education, touring, and overall women who inspire us. Together, we can help shape the future of our industry, one interval at a time. This podcast is co-produced and edited by Natalie Morrison, Stephanie Lamond, and Julia Olsen. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Revoicing the Future. I'm your host, Natalie Morrison, and I'm here with
Stephanie Lamond, co-host, co-producer. I'm here all the time, too. So, yeah.
Some housekeeping things that we just want to keep you all aware of.
Indeed.
The Women of NAMM show scholarship is open. So please apply if you want the opportunity to come to the NAMM show and utilize this as a professional development opportunity. Applications close on September 30th. So you have a couple weeks left to get it all in and apply. I know several people who've gotten the scholarship and have loved it. So definitely consider it.
Good resource.
Also, NAMM show registration has opened. So It's that time of year again, friends.
Wild. Time is passing very quickly.
I know, it's crazy. And keep an eye on the deep dives, new episodes, past episodes, just follow on all the pages and you can stay up to date with all the Women of NAMM happenings because there's a lot happening.
Mm-hmm. A lot of ways to get involved, a lot of good stuff, a lot of good content, a lot of good professional development, all good things. So much to be involved in.
It's a fun place to be.
It really is. We're happy. Happy to be here.
But we're also really happy and excited to introduce today's guest.
Yes, Natalie, who's joining us. I know you got the fun little bio in front of you.
Yes, we have Anna Dobrian. She is the key accounts manager for the Music People, and she's been in the industry for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We all love her. She is such a ray of sunshine when she walks into every room, and she cares so deeply about this industry and supporting others and growing and learning and just being her true, authentic self. And I'm excited for you guys to get to know Anna more. I am biased because she's one of my dear friends, but she is just amazing. And I'm really proud of her for stepping out of her shell to do this with us.
Yes.
And she's a longtime listener. So she was saying how honored she's been just to be considered to speak on this podcast, which I think is really beautiful.
Very sweet.
I know.
Yeah. And she's super involved in YP. Like, this is definitely someone that if you are involved in Women of NAMM and any NAMM professional development stuff, you will probably either already have come across and just absolutely adored, or will come across your path soon and be the person that'll come stand with you in the corner of the networking event and make you feel at home. So
always,
we cannot wait to introduce you to or help you get to know better Anna Dobrian.
And with that, we'll leave you to it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Anna, welcome to Revoicing the Future. We're so excited to have you.
My gosh.
It was such a wonderful, peppy welcome. I love that. That was like very enthusiastic.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
I love it. It felt good. It felt right.
I love to cheer for you, so I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm super pumped to be here. We're in the room. We're live right now recording, and I still can't believe I'm doing this with you guys. I love the podcast, listen to it religiously. You interview all of my favorite people and my heroes, so it's a very special thing to be here with you, to be doing this. It feels like when I walked into the Women of NAMM Summit, when I walked in the room, it's like the same feeling. So thank you. It's really cool.
No, I love that. Well, I put this in the questions to help hype you up, but I want to let everyone know this personally, and I am biased because we are friends, but personally, you are a staple in this industry. And the room always becomes brighter whenever you walk into it. And she's going to start crying already. But seriously, like your energy is so infectious and you have one of the biggest hearts. And I'm just so excited for people to see you for you and get to know you because you are just a huge part of music products industry. And I know you're going to be here for a while. So
that's the plan.
I'm just excited.
That's the plan. The plan is to be here for a long while. That's really nice. I don't even know what to say to that. Thank you. That's so kind. And you're always my hype woman all the time, behind the scenes and in front of people, which is really special. And I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. So let's dive into it.
Okay.
We're going to get into it. So let's start with your journey into music. Your upbringing has played such a big role into who you are today. So let's start there and hear how you got to where you are.
Yeah. All right. I don't know where to begin, but I'm first generation American. My father's from Romania and my mother's from Brazil. And they just happened to meet in New Jersey. Not a common mix you hear of. But growing up, first gen where I grew up, it was a neighborhood at the time that really had very few immigrants. My parents were some of the very few immigrants there. And it was different. And people definitely told me I was different. Kids could be kind of mean. And I always knew I was a little bit different or a little bit other. And I maybe didn't know why all of the time. Mm-hmm. But I found that even when I felt a little bit other, that when I was in the band room or in the locker room, it didn't really matter. That's kind of, both of those places were really the first places that I found a true sense of community and belonging. And you know, if you could play, right? If you wanted to learn, you wanted to learn. And everyone in the band room and in the locker room, right? We were a team, we were a band. Everyone's working together and marching together, literally, to get better every day. Those were always super special, safe places for me. You know, fellow band members and teammates and my band directors and my coaches. I think nothing else mattered in those situations, right? Like all of that otherness didn't matter. We were all working together towards the same thing.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And so what did you play in both situations? Band room, locker room?
Oh, okay. So I played trumpet for a few years and I probably dropped it right before high school. And I played soccer because my mom's Brazilian. So I had to play soccer and I had to be the goalie because I had an older brother. And the only way I could play with his friends was if I could stop their menacing, you know, shots at me. Yeah. But yeah, I played trumpet for a couple of years. And then years later, I was gifted a guitar from not even a big box store. Like, you phone in and you order this like $199 guitar. And we all know that's not like a fun way to learn or practice. A poor quality instrument just doesn't lend itself to you wanting to practice or play more. We all know that. And I was kind of a crummy fretted instrument player. I played bass a little bit too. Definitely know my way around that a little better, but wasn't great at being in bands. And so I still wanted to be a part of it though, right? Like I still so desperately wanted to be a part of it. And I knew I had to be a part of it. So that's how I got into live production, doing front of house, live sound, and studio production.
Yeah. Cool. And you were in the punk scene, right? You were saying?
Yeah.
You were like trying to be in the bands and transitioning over. What was that like? And like seeing yourself in everybody around you in a music scene. It just sounds so rad.
Yeah, that was really cool. So I very fortunately grew up in Bloomfield, which is like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 miles from New York City, and a town over in Montclair There's a very cool, I can't blow up their spot, but people probably know. There's a very, very cool, and it's still there, like a super thriving punk and hardcore scene. And, New Brunswick, New Jersey is very famous for the basement gigs and the punk scene. And probably most all of my oldest and best friends I met literally in this like some dirty, musty basement, or bands were playing like way too loud, way out of tune through blown speakers, and that was a really, really special community. And I'm still very close to a lot of those people and those communities. And my wife still plays in a lot of bands. So that's really fun. But at the time I knew like nothing, like literally nothing, but I knew I needed to be a part of this thing. Like I had to be a part of it. When I say I knew nothing, I was literally plugging a guitar into the back of a cab. No amp, right? Into the back of a speaker cabinet. And being God. Like,
I can do this.
Like, why is no sound coming out? Right? Like I knew literally nothing. And one of my best and oldest friends, Pete August, that I met in said basement many moons ago, taught me everything. He was really one of my first mentors outside of a teacher or a coach. And he would just bring me everywhere with him. I mean, I cut my teeth wrapping cables for him the wrong way. And he'd be like, do it again. Oh! Like, that's not how you wrap a cable, do it again. But everywhere he worked, he took me. And sometimes he'd just throw me in the deep end and be like, all right, mix this band. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, okay, let's look at one channel strip. Okay, it's that 32 times. Like, come on, you can do this. And Pete was really one of my first mentors. And I think as we go through the conversation and as I went through my memory and reflecting on my career thus far, the one common thread that I found was I always had people like Pete who really helped empower me and pull up a seat at the table for me and go, okay, you can learn this. Like, nobody was born knowing everything. If you want to learn this, you can learn this. Let's do it. Let's try it. So he's very special to me. And he actually officiated Cindy and I's wedding, which is pretty cool.
That's so
Cindy
special.
plays in a couple of bands with him now, which is pretty sweet.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you learned live sound production. Where are we now in the timeline? What was your entry point into the music product scene?
So I'm doing sound, right? All over. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, whole metro, tri-state. And I got to go on tour with a couple of my friends' bands, like slinging merch, doing sound on like some beat up mixer somewhere, barely doing sound, let's be real. And I guess I started getting to the age where like, you can't be on mom and dad's insurance anymore. And and you kind of gotta like figure it out. Like, okay, do I want to be gigging all of the time? And the way those gigs work is if you turn down a gig, you become the second call and then the third call. And then maybe you don't get called anymore, right?
Oh my God, we were just talking about this on the deep dive.
Yeah. Yeah, we were. We really were. And so in my early 20s, that was a super cool rock and roll lifestyle. Like it was so rad. But in my later 20s, it was like, kind of like my nights and weekends and holidays and being with my family. So anyway, after that, I get into MI. I'm like looking for jobs in music. I don't even really know where to look, but I stumble upon this role to be a pro audio tech at a retailer. I love them. American Musical Supply, also known as Musical Fulfillment Services, based in northern New Jersey. And before they were American Musical Supply, the e-com retailer giant that they are now, they were Victor's House of Music. I don't know if you guys remember that, but they had a lot of brick and mortar locations in New Jersey. So anyway, I find this role, pro audio tech, and I'm very intrigued by it, but like, how could this be a job? Like, that sounds really cool. So I go, I interview, I get the role. It was super rad. It was teching returns. So mostly pro audio I did. We also had a lot of guitar techs too that, would repair a tuner, put a new pickup in, put a new tuning peg in, whatever it is. And I was kind of teching amps and speakers and mics and all that kind of stuff. And again, at AMS, I found myself being surrounded by incredible people that believed in me and were really invested in my development. And within reason, they really gave me every opportunity to learn and grow wherever I showed interest. So I started in returns and repair, and I really wanted to work with vendors. I'll never forget the first time I emailed, Martin Guitar. It's like, I'm emailing Martin Guitar right now. Like, this is so cool. It's such a silly thing, but it was so cool. So I got to work directly with our vendors. I got to work directly with the purchasers at AMS. I got to work directly with the distribution team, with logistics, shipping, receiving, everything. I got to do everything there. And at the end of my tenure there, I managed a team of 18. I had 18 direct reports who were responsible for all of the returns, all of the repairs, everything that is not super cool and fun, right? And that's really where I learned, I think, how business partnerships should be and how relationships should be, because all ships rise, right? I've got a problem. Let's work on it. Let's fix it together. And that's really how I learned how important, I should say, and meaningful those partnerships and relationships can be, and how easily trust can be lost, how much the value of a relationship is, I'd say.
As you were saying that, that's a sweet thing just that came to me about music products too, in that kind of early phase of everybody getting into it, right? Where you're like, I'm emailing Martin Guitar. Like the concept, I think that there are fun people and jobs behind music products is still something I feel like we're trying to tell the rest of the music industry, that these are places that you can work, and there's someone that made that. And so anyway, I just love pointing out that you felt that moment. I feel like that's something we don't talk about very much.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I was at the Fly-In this past November, we met with a group of students and we were talking about careers in music, and the common thread of the conversations, it was kind of like a speed dating thing, right? Like there were 2 or 3 professionals to a table, and we'd move every 10 or 15 minutes to a group of 10 or 12 students. And it was kind of like an ask me anything thing. And the common thing was that all of these students were like, well, I guess I can really only perform or teach. No. Do you like finance?
No.
Do you like finance? Guess what? All of these businesses, they need somebody in accounting and accounts payable and accounts receivable. They're businesses. Everyone's not just playing guitar all day or ripping a solo on a sax. Come on, right? But it's true. I didn't know that either. Any role in any other company exists in the music products industry. And I don't think we could say that loud enough. It's something that I grew up thinking too. My parents were horrified when they were like, what do you mean audio engineering? What do you mean music? I don't think that's a job, honey. I mean, we'll support you. My parents are so cool. They have inspired my brother and myself to just be lifelong learners, no matter what.
I love that.
But that was one thing that they were like, okay, you can try and do your best, and we know you'll succeed if you try really hard.
Question mark.
Yeah, question mark. But it's true. And even I didn't know that, right? But if you look around, and NAMM has this great initiative now that's called Careers in Music. And I think it's really, really important. And I think it's on every one of us to spread that message to especially the young people that we interact with, whether it's at the NAMM show or just in your life, right? There are so many people I meet at a show that Cindy's playing or something, and they're like, whoa, you work for a company called The Music People? What? what do you do? You know, like that sounds so crazy and cool. There's all kinds of administrative work. Every job that exists in any other company you can find in the music products industry. I don't know how we got there, but I'm glad we did.
The deviation.
I know.
I love it.
That's the beauty of these recordings. So Anna, what do you do?
Yeah, where are we now? Tell us about working at the Music People.
So I'll answer that two different ways. What do I do? Fundamentally, my job is to help our partners and my customers, many of which who are my dearest, closest friends, I'm so lucky, win. My job is to help them win. My job is to help them grow wherever they're trying to grow. My job is to help them succeed. My job is to play a really small part in some of the really incredible things they do in their communities. My job is to find opportunities for them. It's to solve problems for them. But really, I'm a salesperson.
That is the best description for what someone does in sales.
Yeah, that's what it is. And, you know, if you ask Jeremy Payne and Tom Tedesco, my reaction 3-4 years ago now, when I applied to work at TMP. So we'll circle back to AMS. When I worked in that department, returns and repair, when I was reaching out to a vendor, it was not to send them a PO, smiles and sunshine. It was, hey, I've got this instrument that has a broken tuning peg or a knob, or I need an RMA, right? Like the not so fun stuff.
Not glamorous.
Not glamorous, right? And, you know, you really find out, I think, who your true partners are in business, not when things are going great, but when things are tough and you have problems to resolve, right? That's how you kind of can gauge who's a good partner, at least for me, speaking for myself. And I will say, the Music People always was just like a dream to work with, like totally amazing. So I always really loved working with them because I'd have this problem and they'd respond like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. That bites. Let's take care of that right now. What else can we do? And some other vendors, you know, radio silence, maybe I'd follow up 5 times. Maybe they'd be like, nah, it's not broken, right? And the Music People never did that. So I always loved working with them before I worked for them. When I approached TMP and I applied for a role, I actually could not tell you what role I applied for today. We have to go back somehow in HR and ask them, what job did Anna apply for? Because it was definitely not sales. And we had a few interviews, and I think maybe it was at the third of like the big boss, the final boss interview. It was like Sharon Hennessy. Oh my God, she's so cool. Like I read so much about her and I've seen so much about her in the trade magazines. And I had kind of seen her walking around AMS a couple times, and now I'm interviewing with Sharon Hennessy. Oh my God. And at the end of this interview, Jeremy Payne and Tom Tedesco are like, you're great. We really want to make you an offer. But it's not what you applied for. And I'm like, oh, wow, thank you. Wait, what? That's really nice. Thank you so much for saying all those kind things about me, but what? And I think it may have been Jeremy, or maybe it was Tom, who goes, well, you're a salesperson. And immediately I try to monitor my facial expressions. I'm working on that, body language and facial expressions through Toastmasters. And I'm sure I was like, what? You know, I'm sure I made a face like, ew, yuck, no, right? Because everyone thinks about sales as like the sleazy car salesman who's just like, bang, bang, trying to pull one over on you. So immediately I was like, no way. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, but I don't think that's for me. And Jeremy and Tom really convinced me. They were like, look, Jeremy will mentor you. Jeremy will spend all of the time with you to do this and make sure you're comfortable and you learn the ropes. And I think I said something to the effect of like, man, I'm like an engineer. I like solving problems. I like talking to people. I don't think I'm a salesperson. And Jeremy's like on the other end of the video call, like waving his arms like, hello, that's what sales is.
That's exactly the same skill set. I love that.
That's what business to business sales is, right? It's relationships and problem solving and finding and creating opportunities to foster mutual growth. So again, I find myself in this position where these two, I have so much respect for them.
Oh.
These two dudes who don't know me, really, like we met 3 times, saw this potential in me that I didn't see. I didn't know I could do it, but they saw something in me and were like, we'll help you. We'll guide you through it to be the best that you can be at this because we know you can. And we will give you whatever resources, whatever opportunities it takes because we know you can do this. And, you know, if you told like that teenager, you know, in the combat boots at the punk show 15 years ago or whatever that I'd be working in sales, I'd be like, yeah, right, I'm not a sellout, right? No way, I'd never do that. And best decision I've ever made in my life, thus far at least. And marrying my wife. She's so cool and patient, but really.
Shout out to Cindy.
Shout out to Cindy. We love you. But seriously, I mean, they're great salespeople because they sold me on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really mean what I said, that my job really, it's not sales. It's really helping our partners, many of which who are my great friends, be successful, which is really so special to me. I'm so thankful every day. I can't believe this is my job. It's incredible. So you could be a salesperson too, for everyone listening about careers in music. You too can be a salesperson.
Boom.
So on that note, someone's listening, they're like, that sounds pretty rad. What are a few things that come to mind? You're like, this is what makes you really good at sales in terms of like the tasks. We know it's like high level partnerships and
Sure.
making connections and relationships and stuff, but what are concrete skills that anybody listening that's early on in the path might start kind of exploring or tugging to head down that path?
Something I'm always working on, and Jeremy says to me, 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Ooh.
Which is like, we should listen.
I can hear his voice literally in my head.
So listening, that's what it is. And I'll tell you a piece of advice I got my first week on the job that infuriated me. Best advice I ever got. So Vinny Delaria, almost everyone who goes to a NAMM show knows Vinny Delaria. He's been here, gosh, I don't know how long, maybe 10 or 15 years. He's been at the Music People, and he too was not a salesperson before he joined the Music People. And it's my first week on the job. I'm like going through orientation. I don't really know what the heck to do. And I call Vinny because everyone tells me he's so experienced and he's so great. And his customers are obsessed with him. Like, just listen to Vinny. He'll help you. So I call Vinny and I go, hey, Vinny, I never sold anything before, ever. So what do I do? I have this intro call campaign where I have to call all of my customers and introduce myself. But like, what do I do? And Vinny goes, well, you just really have to care, you know? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I care, but that's not actionable, Vin. What do you mean? Like, that's not something I can call and say, hi, I care. Like, what do you mean, Vinny? And that was his advice, is don't sell them anything. You don't know them. You can't sell them anything yet. Call them, get to know them. Who are they? Who are their customers? What are their goals? What works for one of your dealers in, Wisconsin might not work for your guy in the middle of New York City. They have different customers. So learn about them. So that would be my advice, is listen a lot more than you talk, I think. I mean, definitely share who you are and your experience and how you're able to be a great resource and what the value of your particular business is. But really, I think that's the best advice I ever got about sales, is you just really have to listen and be invested in their growth and their goals, because I don't grow if they don't grow. If I sold one of my dealers a pallet of stuff they don't need and are never going to sell it, they will never call me again. Right? Like, that's not good. I need to find the opportunities that work for them. And I can't know that by a Google search or reading about them or whatever. It's just building that relationship and listening and learning what their goals are.
Good piece of wisdom there.
I love that. One of the things that I truly love about you is that you're constantly driven to be better and to grow, especially when you're working on things that you're not necessarily comfortable with. Was there a specific moment in your life that got you into this mindset?
Was it the lifelong learner from your parents?
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like this is a thing. Ooh.
It's 100% my mom and dad. So my dad came here from Romania, didn't know anyone. My mom came here from Brazil. She was like a kid. I think she was 18, 17, and had $10 in her pocket. Knew no one, bought a one-way ticket, didn't speak the language, didn't have a place to stay, didn't have a job. Like,
how brave.
Mind blown, right? Right. My parents are the bravest, coolest people I know. Right now, today, with all of the resources and the support network that I have, I don't know that I could just go, I'm going to move to X country where I don't speak the language whatsoever and I know no one and I have no resources, or even with the resources I have, but I'm going to figure it out, you know? So I think the thing that they instilled in myself and my brother was they didn't only say it, but they did it, you know, like they really led by example in that, you know, yeah, you might not naturally be the best at anything. You might not have the resources or the opportunities that the kids in your classroom have. You don't. But there's not one thing you can't do if you don't put time and effort into it. All of the opportunities will reveal themselves to you. And it's so true, right? Like, think about the first time you picked up an instrument. Were you ripping solos? No.
No.
Nobody was, right?
Unless you're some prodigy.
Yeah, like, and so that was it. And my parents did that by example, day in and day out. Like, we'll figure it out. We're going to do it. And my dad always instilled that, and my mom in me, that, like, you know what? You just have to be undeniable. So that when the opportunity comes along, you'll be the sure choice. You'll be the person that you worked so hard for that thing that you'll get it, right? Like, ambition is not really something you can teach, but maybe it's a nurture thing. I don't know. But yeah, definitely my mom and dad. I mean, they did what to me is the only word I guess I could think of is unfathomable, to build this incredible life for us and give us all these opportunities to pursue higher education or whatever. As long as I tried, I think for my parents, the only failure in their eyes is not trying. Like, if you want to do something and you're not trying, then, like, yeah, you failed. But if you try something and you failed, did you really fail, or was that something to learn from? You know?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really cool.
Shout out Anne's parents.
Love you, Mom, if you're listening.
Well, and so what do you do in that? You talked about Toastmasters. What does that look like too now? What are the things that you're doing that with that we can all get very inspired by and go down rabbit holes?
That still scares me. I actually went to my first meeting at what will be my new Toastmasters club. Shout out. I definitely am an extrovert and I love people and learning about people and learning about the things that connect us. And I think that we live in a time that's like things are just polarizing and loud because of all of the outlets that we have, right? I don't think there's any one person that you can't find something in common with, even if you think you're like completely different.
That's beautiful.
There's something about me being on a stage and people being seated or me presenting that just, I have like a physical anxiety reaction. And I've done a lot of research on it. One of my favorite public speakers is this person by the name of Matt Abrams. And same deal. He's a very famous public speaker, motivational speaker. And he was just horrified of public speaking. The whole nine. It happens to me too. Palms sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, mom spaghetti. No, kidding. No, but really, palms sweaty,
Yeah.
Heart races, my leg shakes, I blank.
Mm-hmm.
And so
fight or flight.
Fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very real thing. It is actually an instinctual reaction that we just have as humans, right? Because especially in front of your peers, you don't want to be ousted from the pack or seen as weak, right? Because if you're a wolf in that pack, you're probably not having dinner that night. So it's a very natural reaction. And listening to his podcast and came to find out that he was a Toastmaster, and being a part of Toastmasters is what helped him get through that. But what really inspired me to join Toastmasters is one of my former mentees. I'm just going to shout her out because she's so cool. Kate Davidson at Taylor Guitars. She's an incredible young woman. Look out for her at the NAMM show. Reach out to her on LinkedIn. She's so rad. She really inspired me because I found myself in this position where I was mentoring her. And she's so brilliant and so cool. And I think we both learned so much from each other. But one of the themes, without sharing too much of our conversations, was, be bold. Go do the thing. You can do it. I know you can do it. And I really caught myself not taking my own advice because I wasn't doing that. And it really helped me be accountable. And she really inspired me. I think I had been asked to speak at NAMM or an AIM Summit or NASMD or something. And it was probably 2 times that I turned down the opportunity. Like, what an incredible opportunity to turn down, right? And Jeremy, who is one of my mentors as well, kind of called me one day and said, hey, why you keep turning this stuff down? Like, this is cool. You should do this. And I shared with him, I'm like horrified. Like, I'm so terrified of doing it. And so Kate and Matt Abrams inspired me. Okay, let me be bold. Let me start walking the walk and do this thing that's scary and see what happens, right? The real failure is in the not trying. So I went to my first Toastmasters meeting maybe 2 years ago, almost exactly, in the spring of 22, I want to say. And the cool thing about Toastmasters is it's a global organization. I've visited Toastmasters clubs in the UK, and it's something I want to do every time I travel is find a local open Toastmasters club. But it's not just public speaking you practice leadership skills, you practice giving great feedback, receiving feedback, applying feedback.
Huge.
And the one thing about that room of people is just like a band room. It's just like a locker room. It's a group of people who are all there for the same reason. And it's to get better and to support each other and help each other learn and grow. And you know what? You can fall on your face and your leg can shake and you can stutter and forget the words. And it's okay. Because that's why you're there, to work out the kinks and get that feedback. So still, this past Tuesday, like I said, I went to my first new club, and still on Tuesday, I had the jitters all over again. But I think it's showing up, right? And showing up for yourself. You just got to show up for yourself. Can't stop showing up. And I think it's such a corny thing, like showing up is half the battle. It is. Let me tell you, girl, when I don't want to do my whatever workout is. Last night I had kickboxing. I really wanted to snuggle up on the couch with my dog who's behind me. But I booked this kickboxing class, so I showed up. And guess what? When I got there, I did the thing because I showed up. So, you got to just show up for yourself.
There seems to be a recurring theme from early on in your life till now of just you're finding those spaces where I don't want to say automatic, but it's kind of an automatic level of support because you're all there for the same reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think rolling it back to this, that's the best thing about this industry is it really is a community. I feel so privileged to work in this industry. Everybody says NAMMally, right? How many other folks do you know that work in different industries? How many of them do you know that are like, I can't wait to go to this trade show. I can't wait to go to this event. I can't wait to be reunited with all of my friends from all across the country and the planet. It really is a community and a family. And I think that's why I'm so at home in this industry is we are all creative, like-minded, just awesome people who want to see each other succeed. And I think that's why I'm not going anywhere. I love this.
Oh.
I love it.
And with a really rad subject matter too. And I imagine it's more natural to build, say, authentic relationships in sales when it's about something like music. It's just an authentic thing that feels quite human. It's easy to integrate into our identity, which is right, a little bit of the danger zone.
A little bit of a problem.
But in a good, healthy way, though, when it's good, it's great. And so it's just balancing, I think, that there's something really rad about what we all do. And it's just how to do that healthily with a balance. So it's not everything about you, but it's a lot cooler than other things we could be doing with our time.
Yeah. I'll say when I was in college, a part-time job I had while I was doing sound gigs was I worked in pharma.
Mm.
And it was like...
Yeah, so it felt different.
Thank you to everyone. It's such an important role. Yeah. Everyone who works in healthcare and pharma, first of all, like, thank you so much. We need you. It's a really difficult job. And I worked at one point part-time for a pharmacy as a pharmacy tech. And it was a sad job.
Yeah.
It was like personally sad. But anyway, that's another topic.
So going into this mindset that you had about public speaking, did you have a similar mindset when you were first asked if you wanted to be a mentor?
I think I said, who, me? Are you sure? I said, I'm sorry, did you mean to call me? This is Anna, right? He's like, oh no, I meant to call you. I know this is a match. And you know what? You can try it. And if either of you don't like it or don't vibe or it's just not working out, it's fine. That's what we do with all mentorships, right? And Nat, you can share that about YP. I think that if it's not a good fit, you just rotate people, right?
Yeah. Hey, look, you called me and you told me I needed to put an application in. So you're paying it forward.
That's true. I did. And so I said, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. And if we're talking about mentorship now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I won't stop saying it. I think that mentorship, whether you are a mentor or a mentee, and you should be both, I think you should coach people and share what you've learned and how you think, and maybe not necessarily give them the answer, but help them maybe see things from a different perspective. And I think being a mentee is incredible as well. I think you should do both lifelong. And mentorship is the greatest gift you can give yourself and someone else, period. Every single time. It is such an incredible experience. It's so fulfilling on either end of it, whether you're the mentor or mentee. And I think many mentors you talk to will tell you, I think I got more out of it than my mentee did. Because part of it is holding yourself accountable, right? Like the thing with me and Kate and Be Bold. I'm like, how can I be giving Kate advice to be bold when I'm not doing that, right? So part of it's holding yourself accountable. And it's just so fulfilling. And I can't recommend it enough. Hit up your girl, Natalie Morrison. Hit up NAMM if you're interested. Even if you're not sure if you're interested, just apply. And you might get matched. You might not get matched. You might get matched the next round. And if you get matched and you don't love it, that's okay. They'll find another match for you. But I don't think that happens often. I think YP is incredibly thoughtful about their pairings, and just do it. If I can plug YP for one more minute, it's that.
Sure.
I hear a lot of people in our industry say, I'm too old for NAMM YP. I've aged out. Hello. No, you haven't. You can be a mentor. Every NAMM member can be a part of NAMM YP at some capacity. If you've aged out of the YP part of it, doesn't mean you've aged out of the mentorship program. We need mentors. We need mentors to help inspire and grow the future leaders of the industry. So I don't like hearing that. Nobody's too old for a YP mentorship program. Do it. Yeah. So yeah, it's an incredible thing. It's the best gift you can give yourself and someone else. Period. Do it.
And even outside of like YP, there's so many ways to mentor. Like I got just through another pal too. There was a women and gender expansive group of music thing in San Francisco that just randomly, like I had a friend that was doing that. And then she was like, oh, I really think you should mentor this person. And I was like, okay. So similarly, if you just stay open, the people that are kind of supposed to find you will find you. And I loved them. We had such a great time. I learned so much. So there's mentorship everywhere too. If you just go kind of like tugging, or if you just wait for them to find you like it did with you and it did with me. I consistently have always felt exactly like that. And similarly, as I'm taking them in the recording studio, I'm like, oh, I should probably record. Like I should probably put something out. Like it's so good for accountability because often you're not doing the thing that you're telling them to do. So I love it. Yeah. It's good stuff. Mentorship is fantastic.
It's great.
It seems like you have found a way to bring your full self into your job. And that's amazing. And not everybody is able to achieve this, but it's such a great goal to be striving for. And so did you do this intentionally? Was that a thought that you wanted to kind of show up fully in your roles? Or was that not even something you were thinking about and it was a happy accident? Like, how did this happen that you are just fully rocking and rolling it as Anna in work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think part of it maybe is just personality and that I can't stop talking.
You can't not be fully yourself. I love that.
Yeah, it's like a compulsion to just like never stop, like an Energizer bunny. No, that's not true though. There were definitely points in my career where I specifically was not open about, my sexuality or being comfortable sharing that part of my life. And that really doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I came to realize that I'm surrounded by so many people. I mean, the music industry just in general, I feel is more inclusive than a lot of other industries to begin with. But that was a really scary thing for me at a time. Things were different. Like gay marriage was not legal. There was no pride section at Walmart and Target. It was not cool. It's like horrible to think about, but also really great to think about where we are now, I think, because it wasn't that long ago, but we've come so far, I feel like, in a really short amount of time, which is really special. But I think there were definitely points in my career where I did not bring my full self to work. And I looked around and I realized I'm around all these people who unconditionally support me and sponsor me and champion me. And I think that if you bring your whole self to work and what you do and you show up, you might just inspire other people to do the same thing. And I really would love to be the person I think I needed really early on in my career.
Oh,
Yeah. And I think just you're doing yourself and your coworkers and your customers or whoever it is that you work with and interact with. I think you're doing all parties a disservice if you're not yourself authentically. And I think when you do it, you give other people license to be themselves. And we're all just better when we show up as who we are and bring our full selves to work. So if I could be that person to encourage or empower other people from different backgrounds or whatever, I mean, representation is such an important thing. And I really believe that if you see it, you can be it. And early in my career, I didn't see anybody that looked like me.
Yeah.
Or had the similar background. I really didn't. So when you don't have that representation, I think it makes longevity in a career or in a space just really difficult to envision.
Yep.
So I think once I ripped the Band-Aid off, it was just like, yeah, this is me. I don't think it was a shock to many people. Maybe it was. I don't know. If it was, then wow. But I think once I ripped the Band-Aid off, it was just like, yeah, this is me. And maybe there were some people who were a little uncomfortable about it, but they came around to it and, that's fine. And if they didn't, that's also fine. Doesn't matter. It's just a part of who I am. It's not like all encompassing of who I am. And I think if I could be that person for other people, I had someone come up to me at a NAMM show 3 or 4 years ago that said, hey, I really want to talk to you, like, over there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's go talk. What's up? Like, what's your name? Who are you? And they shared with me, me too. Like, I'm, I just haven't told I don't know why I'm like, it's just such a bad thing. I don't know. It's just how the conversation went,
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, sweet. And they said to me, like, I didn't know anybody else. Like, I didn't know any other professionals who were just openly who they are. And I sobbed on the show floor. I sobbed. And I was like, sorry, I know this is an emotional thing for you right now, but it's also an emotional thing for me.
Yes.
So,
oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, definitely intentional. Part personality, part just being like, it's unfair to me and everyone else to just not show up for myself and give other people license to do so.
Yeah.
This is what makes you you, and why the energy that you bring when you walk into a room is just so special, because you are unapologetically you.
Oh, thanks.
And that's what makes you easily relatable to so many people, and how people can feel comfortable and easy. Like, you and I met at a coffee shop in the middle of New York City with Cindy, and I felt like I've known you forever.
Oh.
And it's really beautiful that you've found so many people in your career to support and uplift you, because that's rare to find sometimes.
Yeah, and I just want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that person. Maybe this goes back to the beginning of our chat. I know I have felt in so many ways what it's like to be other or excluded and different and be told you're different. And it just doesn't feel good. It's not cool. It doesn't feel good personally. You can't show up at work or at school or at band or at your team sport when it feels like that. And I never want anyone ever to feel that way. Ever. So it might be my most annoying quality, but if I'm like at a NAMM show and we're at some networking thing and there's somebody awkwardly standing in a corner, I will go awkwardly stand in the corner with them and be like, hey, what's up? Right? Because sometimes it just takes that one person or that one friendly interaction to make somebody feel included. And, we're an industry of incredible people, and it can be super intimidating if you're at a NAMM show, especially if it's your first show and you kind of see all these people reuniting and it's like, Natalie, let's see that outfit. And she's like doing the walk and everybody's like, high five, right? It's all these friends reuniting. You're like, oh my God, everybody knows each other here and I don't know anybody. Like, that's a really isolating feeling. So I just never want anyone to feel that way. It's just, and you don't know, you might meet like your next best friend or your next best mentor or this person that might introduce you to someone or something that takes you to the next step in your career personally or professionally, whatever. So it's just cool to be kind.
Yeah.
It's just cool. Like, it's not cool to be cliquey or exclusive. Like, you're missing out. If you think that's cool or if that's your vibe, I'm not judging you, but I think you're missing out.
But I think you're wrong. Yeah. No, Julie, with all of this, it's added stress. You're worse at your job too. Like, you're distracted by trying to hide yourself, or added stress to be like, I don't fit in here.
For sure.
I have just written 2 papers about this week. It truly statistically is proven all you need is one person in someone's life. Now we're switching gears to actually talking about, specifically in this instance, queerness, to help protect against so many things. In this situation, you just going over to the corner and be like, what's up? Like, truly, if anybody is ever in that situation where you're hesitating on doing that, like, just do it, because the data shows it is actually a huge thing you're doing for someone. And also, that's the little thing. You get kind of scared to go over and do it, though. Like, I know I get intimidated when I'm like, should I compliment this person? I don't know. When, like, obviously, but like, there's a little bit where you're like, I don't want to bug somebody. You just do it. Get more brave about inclusion like that.
And by the way, it's a great thing for you too, not just the other person.
Yeah. It's just how it works. It's how it can work when it's healthy. I love that. It's cool to be kind. That can be our thesis.
Yeah. And it's one of the best things about the NAMM show is like the accidental networking that happens. So if you're there, network. Yes, catch up with your friends. Of course. Who doesn't love a NAMM reunion? But make new ones. That's why we're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Expand the NAMM.
Expand the NAMM. Hashtag.
I love that Women of NAMM does the first timers meetup at the beginning. It forces everyone to just make a friend and a buddy, because that show, it's a very intimidating show if you've never been.
Mm-hmm. We hear that so often.
Especially when someone like Natalie is walking down the hall in like her all white suit. You're like, who's that girl? Like, oh my God. I couldn't possibly go say hello to her.
Yes, you can. See, here's the thing. If you see me, say hi.
If you see Natalie, you have to tell her if you're team Jess, Logan, or Dean.
That's fun.
Team Logan.
I'm team Jess.
Team Luke.
Team
Luke. There, I said it. Right?
Okay, finally.
And now we begin our Gilmore Girls podcast.
That was the Gilmore Girls reference, everybody. Yeah.
Everyone go watch it. We love to close every episode. I don't know. I think we started doing this year.
It's fun.
I love it. Who is Anna outside of music? What fills your cup and brings you joy?
Wow. Music. Do I have to say outside of music? Can it be music outside of work?
No, it can be. Yeah.
Always love going to a show. Especially love going to a show when I don't know who the heck is playing. Lots of great venues in Jersey. I recently moved down the shore, so I'm right by the Stone Pony and House of Independence and the Lanes and the Wonder Bar. And I just love going to a show outside of music. I love hockey. I'm like the biggest hockey fan. I am a hockey player too, a bad one, but I do it. I still show up twice a week.
I kind of love normalizing though, like not being great at something and still doing it anyway because you love it. That's still like kind of awesome though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I love all things, I guess, that are community focused. I love sports. I love hockey. I love going to hockey games. I love playing hockey. I love being on a team. I love going to shows. I am an at-home barista. I love doing all of the coffee things. We have an espresso machine and a Chemex and a French press and all kinds of crazy contraptions. I can't even name them all. It's kind of our ritual thing that we like to do. And I just love spending time with my wonderful wife and our dog and our cat. Also wonderful, a little bit of a terror, but I love her too.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention, Harley. Yeah, I just love all things I think that are community focused and that people are there to get better at something or share this common passion. Yeah, and I love to travel. I love traveling. I love learning new things and learning about new people and things that connect us. And coffee.
Yeah.
And coffee.
Which connects us.
Always coffee.
Yeah. I mean, Natalie and I met over a cup of coffee in Soho. Yeah, she just like took the train to meet for a cup of coffee one day and the rest is history. Aww. Now there's a million group chats and doesn't matter what time zone we're in. If she's on the West Coast or the East Coast or I'm in the UK. If you need me, just give me a call. I'm not going to quote Gilmore Girls. I'll stop. Where you lead.
So many Gilmore Girls reference in here.
Where you lead, I will follow, and it's like all over a cup of coffee, right? Doesn't matter time of day, time zone, work related, personal, what we're going through. I'm really, really thankful for that. And I'm really, really thankful for this. I'm sad it's over.
Oh.
Can we set up a weekly chat and I interview you guys next?
Yes. That sounds so fun.
I'm so proud of you.
I was just like, are you sure me? I mean, like I said, with the summit, it was the same thing. When I saw the names of everyone else who got selected, I was like, me? I don't know. Are you sure?
No, you got to stop thinking that way
know.
Because people are looking to you now. As I started this conversation, you are a staple in this industry. Point blank, end of story, done.
Thank you.
Well, Anna, you're amazing. I'm proud of you. Thank you for joining us and being so open and raw and, again, your true authentic self.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your story. Great example for all of us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you. I know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Revoicing the Future. You can subscribe to the podcast on all major streaming platforms or visit our website. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Women of NAMM. This episode was co-produced and edited by Natalie Morrison, Stephanie Lamond, and Julia Olsen. Together, we can help shape the future of our industry, one interval at a time. See you next time.